So I'm back in the South Australian Riverland today. This is my first real trip since Cape York, and I've got a good campsite booked, one of my favourites. The river's up, the weather's warm, the fish should be on the go. Well, I've not seen water in here before, not since they did up the roads. This body of water is called the Splash, and those gum trees that are in the centre of the picture are normally the bank. So all this area out here is completely flooded. This is the stone weir, and it's completely underwater. You'd hardly even know it was there. Unbelievable. There is a lot of water coming down this creek. Well, the water's up a lot higher than I thought it was. It's probably good for fishing, but could make the campsites a bit damp. Well, this is a bit of a problem. This is my good favourite campsite, and normally I fish down by those trees. So here's my campsite. I just hope the tide doesn't come in any further. A sacred kingfisher. Lots of bubbles coming up there. I wouldn't be at all surprised if there's carp grubbing around in here. So even though the campsite that I normally use is flooded, those trees are usually on the riverbank. This might actually be quite a good spot because it's fairly shallow. I know there's no obstructions down there, and it certainly looks like there might be fish feeding on the flat here. So we'll give it a go. That water's just racing past. I think where I am here is shallow, but there's a bit of a backwater. This is probably the best spot. Right, here's the first fish out of the campsite, and as Robbie would say, I'm on the board. There we go. So I'm just using an unweighted line with a few worms on the bottom. So my second rod is paternoster, size 4 hooks, very small sinker, and a couple of bunches of worms. I've also got bread and corn, but we'll see how this goes. And again, I know it's not very deep, so I don't need to go very far out. That's probably even too far. Bring it back about there. I'm getting a bite on this one again. This is the unweighted one. I hope I'm not just going to catch tiny little carp all day. Be nice to get something of some size. And another little carp in about 2 feet of water. This is a bit better. Typical carp, straight to the top. Oh, it's not as big as I thought it was. I'll still get the net. You can see from the mud how shallow it is down there. It's probably a kilo and a bit. Getting a bite on this one. This has got bread on it. Ah, missed it by a mile. Got one on the other line as well. That one's only small. Let's see what's on here. This is a better one. That's a good fish. .1 kilos. Not bad, eh? Worth the wait. Right, another one. That's quite a reasonable fish, I think. Not in a hurry to come here anyway. Let's keep him away from that other line. Oh, he's going over there. Come this way, come this way. This is a good fish. Don't think he got the other line. No, not through there, not through there. Goodness me, what's going on? I've got another one on this line. Missed it. Let's worry about this one. That was nearly a rod holder emptier, that one. Come back this way. I don't want you in those trees. No, that's right. He's this side. He's got some strength. Bit more drag or I'm going to lose him. Come on, get away from those trees. He's trying to get back in the main river. And he's going to get there if I'm not... Oh, he's right at the bottom of that tree. Don't go behind that one. No, not good. Not good. Not good. Come on. This way. He knows the water's shallow there and he doesn't want to be caught in it. Got to get him up this way a bit more. This is a good fish. Good fish. Come on. Come on. Oh. This way, come on. Well, this is the best fight I've had today, by a long shot. Hard to gauge its size, but it's several kilos. I'm glad that other line went off and I was able to get it in a bit, because I definitely would have caught it. Yeah, he's not bad, but again, he's not huge. 4 kilos, maybe a bit more. Net time. Gotcha. 5.4. That's a fair lump of fish. 5.4 kilos. And good riddance. Another one. Not as big as the last one. They sure like bread and no weight. How's them apples? Just over 5 kilos. So that's all it is. A couple of hooks, swivel, then the braid, 9-pound line, and no weight, and that seems to be the key. It's a pity that the fish aren't a bit bigger. The average size isn't huge, but at least there's plenty of bites, so you can't complain about that. Pretty well nailed the spot, I reckon. This is out of the main current. Because I've camped here before, I know it's flat and there's no snags, and probably only maybe 2 feet deep, but certainly the carp are coming in here to investigate, and I've got a couple of really good ones. So look, there are hundreds of ways to fish for carp, but this is how I do it, particularly in shallow water. No weight on the line, bar a swivel. Then I put the bail arm over on the reel, which you can see here, and then down on the ground the line is trapped under a little stick. So if a fish runs with the bait, the stick flies off, the line peels out, and you know you've got a bite. And by having the rod in 2 holders, one at the rear there, and the main one, and also having at least one guide behind the rod holder, it makes it much harder for a big fish to pull the rod out of the holder and into the water, which I've had happen even with those sort of precautions, but generally it doesn't happen. So that's how I do it. I'd be interested to hear any comments on people that have other technique. You could use a bait runner reel, of course, but this works just as well. The reel's already in, the drag's already set on the reel, so as soon as I flick the bail arm over, I'm in fighting mode. Well, that got taken within 15 seconds of it hitting the water. Again, not a big fish, but didn't muck around. Well, another one nearly pulled the rod out the rod holder. Nice one. Yep. That one, that's almost 5 kilos. Right, just about time for a good book, followed by a good sleep. The next morning, got him, number 1 for the day. Good fight. Might see yourself on YouTube.
There we go. What's your handle?
Captain Frank 01. How about that one? Good fight. There we go. Nice one. No, he didn't drop it. And it's quite a good fish too. This is alright. Wants to get back in the main river. And I'm not going to let him. This way, buddy. Small channel just beyond that fish where he could get back into the main river. If I can keep him in this flat area, I've got a chance of getting him up. It looks like I've turned him. It's a good fish. Solid. Now all I need is for the other rod to go off. I'll be in all sorts of trouble. Yeah, good fish. Again, the lines around the dorsal fin, I hate that. Try and pull them in sideways. Unless I've jagged him. I don't think so. No, I have. I've jagged it. Look at that. You can see the hook in the belly. Well, wasn't your lucky day, was it? No wonder it was a strange fight. It's going to be difficult to land. I wouldn't be at all surprised if the hook pulls, but I've got him. Not a bad fish. Felt a lot bigger, of course, because it was hooked in the side. Well, wasn't your lucky day, was it? Not too shabby, and jagged in the side. Not his lucky day. So tea tonight, pasta, some stir-through sauce and some meat patties that I've chopped up. I brought them from home. That'll keep the wolf from the door, and I might follow it up with a bit of custard. There we go, Gordon Blue, eat your heart out. What a great sunset. So ends day 2. It's been quite a good trip. I've probably caught about 50 carp and a couple of really nice ones amongst that. So tomorrow morning I'll have a brief session here after breakfast and then I'll head for home. These pelicans were involved in communal fishing. Judging by their heads being regularly thrown back, they were obviously doing pretty well. It had been a good couple of days, lovely weather and lots of fish. I probably took about 80 kilos of carp out of the system. I'll be back again soon.